Let's be honest. Most people manage their finances with the same level of precision as a raccoon digging through a dumpster behind a Wendy's. It's chaos, it's emotional, and usually there's a lot of trash involved. We tell ourselves we're good with money because we didn't buy that third coffee today. Meanwhile, we're bleeding out via 27 micro subscriptions we forgot about in 2019. So naturally, I decided to do something incredibly stupid in the name of science. I handed the keys to my financial kingdom, my transaction history, my budget, my investment portfolio, and my spending habits, over to a cold, unfeeling mathematical entity, ChatGPT 4. For 30 days, I am not allowed to make a single financial decision without consulting the AI. If ChatGPT says I can't afford the guacamole, I eat the taco dry. If ChatGPT says I need to move 40% of my checking account into a high-yield savings account immediately, I do it. If ChatGPT tells me to invest in ornamental gourd futures, well, we'll have a discussion about liquidity, but I'm technically committed to the bit.
Here is the hypothesis. Humans are bad at money because we have emotions. We want things. We feel sad, so we buy things. We feel happy, so we buy things. We're hungry, so we buy things. An AI doesn't care about my feelings. It only cares about the math. It operates on pure logic. So, theoretically, if I remove the human error, me, from the equation, my net worth should skyrocket. Or the AI will hallucinate and wire my life savings to a Nigerian prince. Let's find out. Day 1. The audit. I downloaded my last 90 days of bank transactions as a CSV file. If you've never looked at your spending in a raw spreadsheet format, I highly recommend it if you enjoy panic attacks. I scrubbed the personal data, obviously, and fed the raw numbers into the beast. My prompt was simple. Act as a ruthless financial advisor. Here is my spending history. Here is my income. Create a budget for the next 30 days that maximizes savings without causing me to starve. Critique my past spending habits. Be harsh. It took the AI about 4 seconds to process what would take a human accountant 3 days.
And the response? It was humbling. It didn't just categorize my spending, it psychoanalyzed it. Observation 1, it wrote. You spend an average of $430 a month on dining out/convenience food. This represents 12% of your take-home pay. Mathematically, this is inefficient. A meal prep strategy could reduce this to $150, saving you $280 monthly. That is $3,360 a year. Compound that at 7% over 20 years, and you are eating $144,000 worth of burritos. Okay, first of all, ouch. Second of all, the math checks out. It's hard to argue with compound interest calculations when they're staring you in the face. Observation 2, subscriptions. You are paying for 3 different streaming services that offer overlapping content. Cancel 2. Savings, $34 per month. It was right. I haven't opened Hulu since 2022. Why am I paying for it? Because I'm lazy. The AI is not lazy. The AI is a relentless optimization machine. It created a zero-based budget for me. Every single dollar had a job. It allocated 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings.
But here's the kicker. It reclassified half of my wants as unnecessary waste. It sloshed my discretionary spending by 60%. My fun money for the month was set at $100. $100? In this economy? That's like 2 movie tickets and a popcorn. Day 7, the withdrawal. The first week was miserable. Not because I was starving, but because I lost the dopamine hit of spontaneous spending. I walked past a coffee shop. I wanted a cold brew. I pulled out my phone and typed, "Can I buy a $6 cold brew?" ChatGPT replied, "Your budget for dining/coffee has $14 remaining for the week. You have coffee beans at home. The cost per cup at home is 42 cents. Buying this coffee represents a 1,328% markup on the utility of caffeine. Do you really need it? See, this is the problem. It's right. It's annoyingly right. A 1,328% markup is objectively stupid. If I tried to sell you a stock with a 1,328% markup, you'd call the SEC. But we do it every day with consumer goods. I went home and made the 42-cent coffee. It tasted like fiscal responsibility and bitterness, mostly bitterness. By the end of week 1, I had spent exactly $0 on impulse purchases. My checking account looked healthier. Normally, by the 7th of the month, I'm wondering where the paycheck went. This time, it was just sitting there, accumulating. Now, speaking of accumulating wealth and making smart decisions, here is the highest ROI decision you can make today. It costs you exactly $0, requires zero math, and yields infinite value in future financial videos. Check if you are subscribed to the channel. If not, click the button. It tells the YouTube algorithm that we like money and logic. It's the only investment with zero downside risk. Go ahead, I'll wait for the click. Done? Good. Back to the suffering. Day 14, the grocery incident. I asked ChatGPT to generate a grocery list based on the strict budget it gave me. I told it I needed 2,500 calories a day and wanted to hit specific macronutrients. The list it gave me was efficient, brutally efficient. Oats, eggs, rice, beans, chicken breast, frozen broccoli, bananas. That's it. No sauces, no snacks, no joy. I typed back, "This looks boring. Can I add some steak or maybe some chips?" ChatGPT. Steak is currently averaging $14.99 per pound in your area. Chicken breast is $3.99 per pound. Steak provides protein at a cost of 0.18 cents per gram. Chicken provides protein at 0.06 cents per gram. To maximize the budget surplus for your investment portfolio, steak is illogical. Chips offer zero nutritional value and are a depreciating asset to your health. Stick to the list. Depreciating asset to my health. The robot has jokes. I bought the chicken. Here's the thing about this experiment. It's highlighting the latte factor concept, but on steroids. Financial gurus always fight about whether skipping coffee makes you rich. The math says yes. The psychologists say no. ChatGPT is firmly on the side of the math. By day 14, I had saved an extra $350 compared to my typical month. That is real money. If I invested that $350 every month into an S&P 500 index fund, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. The cost? I am eating boiled chicken and staring at a wall for entertainment. Day 21, the investment strategy. I had extra cash, a surplus, a rare sighting in the modern economy. I asked ChatGPT what to do with the excess $600 I had managed to not spend on useless junk. Option A, high-yield savings account, risk-free, 4 or 5% APY, good for emergency fund padding. Option B, broad market ETF, VTI or VOO, historical average 7 to 10% returns. Option C, pay down highest interest debt. What are your current interest rates? I told it I had a credit card balance with 0% interest, promotional period, and no other high-interest debt. It immediately prioritized the ETF. Maximize time in the market. Purchase $600 of VTI. Do not try to time the market. Do not buy individual stocks based on Reddit rumors. Statistical probability of beating the market is less than 10%. Buy the index. Boring, incredibly boring advice. And also exactly what every millionaire actually does. It didn't tell me to buy the latest meme coin. It didn't tell me to short the housing market. It told me to be average, because being average in the stock market makes you rich eventually. I bought the ETF. Day 28, the crisis. My car made a noise, a bad noise, the kind of noise that sounds like money leaving your wallet. I took it to the shop. Quote, $400. Normally, this would stress me out. I'd have to shuffle money around, maybe dip into the do not touch savings. But because I had spent the last 28 days living like a monk under the tyranny of the AI, my checking account had a buffer. The money was there. I told ChatGPT, unplanned expense, car repair, $400. ChatGPT, this is a variance. However, due to the savings from the no dining out and subscription purge protocols, your current month surplus is $840. Pay the $400 from cash flow. Your savings rate for the month will drop from 45% to 22%. This is still within acceptable parameters. Proceed. Acceptable parameters. I didn't have to use a credit card. I didn't have to panic. The robot had forced me to build a buffer I didn't even know I needed. Day 30. The results.
The month is over. I can finally buy a taco without asking a language model for permission. But before I go blow my savings on guacamole, let's look at the final numbers. Total income, standard. Total expenses, down 34% compared to my 3-month average. Total saved and invested, $1,250 more than usual. Let me repeat that. I saved $1,250 in 30 days just by actually listening to the math. Was it genius? Mathematically, yes. My finances are cleaner, leaner, and more optimized than they have ever been. I have clarity on where every dollar goes. The anxiety of, can I afford this, disappeared because the answer was always a binary yes or no based on data, not feelings. Was it a disaster? Socially, yes. I was the guy bringing Tupperware to the friend hangout. Mentally, it was exhausting to question every microtransaction. We are not robots. We need friction. We need occasional irrational joy. Spending $50 on a dinner with friends has a terrible financial ROI, but a high life ROI. ChatGPT cannot calculate the value of a memory.
It sees the receipt, but it doesn't see the experience. However, the lesson is clear. We are bleeding money because we are autopilot spenders. We don't need an AI to control our lives, but we need the AI's mindset. The "is this a 1,300% markup on utility?" mindset. I'm going to keep the budget structure ChatGPT built. I'm going to keep the subscription cancellations, but I'm firing it as my daily manager. I'm taking back control. And the first thing I'm doing is buying that coffee. Not because it makes financial sense, but because I'm a human being, and I've earned it. If you want to try this, just export your bank statement and ask ChatGPT to roast you. It hurts, but it's cheaper than therapy. Don't forget to check out the links in the description for the tools I used, and I'll see you in the next one.